What's going on? What's going on, everybody? This is Phil Jones of the Extraordinary Men podcast, coming to you guys live in effect as always. So, I wanted to have a little brief conversation with you guys about something that is near and dear to my heart. For those who don't know, I in school studying business. I'll be done pretty soon, finally accomplishing my degree in it. And, as I get closer to the finish line in that, I wanted to start speaking more on things that I've learned and hopefully assist people in areas to where they seem to be having the most trouble. Listen, today I want to talk to you guys about the guru culture, talk to you guys about the false promises of money, 10x and 20x and 40x in your money. There's a lot of grandiose promises that's being made out there in social media space as far as if you just give these strangers your money, then they can turn it into something, or that they stand for some noble altruistic cause, and everything that you invest in with them is going to go to some extremely noble cause. And listen, I'm not here to question anybody's motivations, nor am I here to try to tell people what to do. What I do want to do is take a couple of minutes to really shed a light on saying some things that I think that needs to be said by now from the crypto space, for what we've seen with SBF and FTX, the cryptocurrency exchange that went belly up. I lost money in the Voyager thing. When Voyager went down, I had an Ethereum coin and some other stuff that was valued over about 1,500. Ended up losing a great deal of that. Got some of it back, but again, I still wanted to believe that the magical internet money was going to be a great investment, and I had to learn my own lesson in dealing in the crypto space. And there's a lot of people who learned a different kind of lesson, investing in these get-rich-quick schemes, these pump and dumps that really didn't stand for anything. It's like after a while, you start noticing the trend. A lot of these guys that are doing this stuff, and when I say guys, I don't mean gender specific, but a lot of people that are in these spaces that are taking advantage of people, they're really good talkers. I think that a lot of them do originate from a very noble cause or from a good place, but greed takes over, and it doesn't allow them to admit, hey, I'm in over my head. So they keep going. And then I believe there's some people, a lot of them, probably most of them, they were in on the con from the get-go. And that was just the nature of their business dealings. I am up to my head in watching people tell you about how everything from the church to watching people hit you with the health is wealth, give me your money and watch God pour you down some mystical blessing as if God is a genie and not who he actually is. Then you have as I stated, the crypto space guys. You have the real estate people. Oh man, I made my fortune in doing this and writing books and trying to tell you all these motivational mumbo jumbo about how you could do this if you just spend this money on this seminar or buy my book or buy my real estate course, and it's going to get you what the possibilities are endless when it comes to scamming and grifting. Whether you're in the black sector, the white sector, no matter what sector of the world that you apply to, there's a grifter there. There's somebody that's lined up and waiting to take your money. They don't care if you're disabled. They don't care if you're filthy rich. They don't care who you are. If you're dumb enough to give up your money, they are willing to take it. I can honestly say that in looking at the culture of people on the internet making grandiose promises, one of their favorite victims are the people who are hard off and desperate, people who are single parents, people who are trying to secure legacies for their families, people who are already downtrodden, who are trying to pull themselves out of poverty, people who are just barely making it, people who are toward the end. Like, I keep, it's just, the spectrum is just so wide, right? The church grift is so crazy because the church grift deals with a monolithic group of people who have a similar mindset or a similar situation. And you can shamelessly go in and take the last little bits of money from a people who are already struggling. I am here because I'm looking for an answer to remedy my struggling. And you are willing to take what little bit I have. And it's like, I ask people sometimes, why does God need people who don't have the resources to finance his institution when the all-powerful God, why couldn't he just give the pastor the resources to do his work so that he could do it for free or that she could do it for free? It's hard to wrap your mind around logic sometimes because it requires you to critically think. It requires you to come to the realization, to burst the myth that's lived inside of your head. That euphoria that you get when you go to the casino, the euphoria you get when you buy the lottery ticket or the scratch off. It's the euphoria of there's a chance that this might be a good idea, that this might be a good investment, that this might be right, this may be my moment. And for the vast majority of people, it isn't. For the vast majority of us, there is no moment. There is just you getting got, getting taken advantage of, you being misled, mistaught. You're given a bunch of fluff about what God wants for your life and given a bunch of fluff about how these people who, if they were making all this money doing what they said that they do, why do I need to sell it to you? Why would I take your money to do it for you if I'm already making so much money doing it? Like, really wrap your mind around it. If I had some automated machine that could make 20 times my investment, then why wouldn't I just take my own money and just keep 20 times Xing my own money until I reached my billions and I decided I was ready to stop? But why would I ever stop if I'm making that much money? Why would anybody, logically speaking, why would anybody ever logically give you the blueprint to take money out of their pocket? Because the more people who do a specific thing leads to saturation. The more saturated something gets, the less demand there is. So if the demand is lowered, that means that the payout is less because it's more spread out. Not to mention, there are less people competing for that particular resource or that particular service because there are more people offering it. Case in point, if I was to need a fast food worker to work my restaurant, I know that the training and the turnover to get that person in, I may spend a maximum of a few days training them on the different processes, whether it be the front window, the drive-through window, the cooking area, the cleaning process, what chemicals to use, maybe a little computer training. But aside from that, there's no real thing to it. I can get you in and get you out, and turnover will continue because of the ease. One of the biggest problems that I have is that when you look at that and you come to the realization of how supply and demand works in a real market, then you have to ask yourself, why don't those rules apply over here? Why would, if God is going to, and this is no jab at the church directly, it's just wrapping your mind around some of the people who have been known to mega grift their church people, their parishioners. You have to start asking the necessary questions. What am I getting from this? Every time that I put money into someplace, when they say, oh, the money is going to God, where? Because God cannot physically take it. He can't physically receive it. There's no God bank account. And God is everything and all things. So why does he need your money? Why does he need your mortal resources? Why would the creator of the earth need your mortal resources to do his work? And that's one thing I tell people too, is that truth can stand on its own. That's one of the most beautiful things about the concept of truth, is that truth can stand on its own. It does not need you to justify it. It will be true today, tomorrow, the next day, the day after that, and it will consistently be true the world over. So when you start looking at certain things, I start looking at cryptocurrency. One of the biggest flaws with cryptocurrency specifically is that people are trying to hold on to it as if it's an investment in instrument. For instance, they look at this like if it was a IRA, or if it was a REIT or something that if you hold on to it over said period of time that it would turn over a profit. The only way a currency has any value is people's use of the currency. So just taking a random coin, let's just say a Dogecoin. If you're holding on to Dogecoin, hoping that more people buy into it to inflate the price of what it currently is, then it's operating more like a Ponzi than it is a actual legitimate currency. But in order for the currency to be legitimized, small businesses and large businesses alike need to start taking it, and that currency needs to move. That's why it's a currency. Base word is current. It needs to flow. If it's not moving, if it's not going anywhere, if it's just only being bought and sold, it can't go anywhere, and it'll never have any real value because it has no real use outside of buying, holding, and selling. That's the same thing for any crypto, Bitcoin, Ethereum, any of the big name ones. You guys can argue that amongst yourself, but if there's no actual use for these coins or for this internet money, if nobody is actually transacting in it on a day-to-day basis, it will never have any real value. And that's just the bottom line. So you have to be careful when you're investing in something that somebody tells you, oh, when you buy into this, it's going to do this, and a portion of the proceeds are going to go here, and it's going to go there, and it's going to... If there's no plan to make this currency adaptive to be used in everyday life, it is worthless. It is worthless. And it does not require me to delve deep into that. If I have a card, a money you pay card or something, and there's no Visa, MasterCard, Discover, American Express logo, or any one of the majorly accepted logos on it, I cannot just go to a store and just swipe it because there's no merchant attached to it. So those card readers and those things that these stores use, they communicate with the merchant, and then there's a percentage per transaction that is paid out to the merchant to be able to use their service. So there's no merchant attached to it. More than likely, the store will not accept it. So cryptocurrency will work the same way. That if there's no adaptation of acceptance for that currency, it is useless. It's a waste of time. If it's a very limited space that you could use it in, such as like internet games or certain websites or certain things, it's worthless. Unless you're going to be using all your time and spending all your time playing that one specific thing or living inside of this microscopic bubble, anything outside of that ownership of that crypto or adoption of that crypto is worthless. It's a waste of time. It's like you have to really vet people in this day and age. Like anybody can sound intelligent. Anybody can put up, even me, anybody can sound intelligent. Anyone can get on the in front of a camera, wear nice clothes, articulate themselves, get their key points, throw out a video and say, hey, I'm going to be your guide to crypto investing, and I have this program and stuff. And if you like me and I build notoriety, then you guys start following and decide that you guys want to buy my program. Then that's how it goes. My charisma, selling points, my talking, my confirmation bias, my assurance, my all the things that I embody makes you feel that I'm legitimate. And because of that, especially if I get a celebrity cosign or something along those lines, it'll really make it appear as if I know what I'm talking about. We see this now with the DJ Envy thing and this New Jersey real estate thing, and the Jay Morrison with the Tulsa real estate fund. It's a bunch of grifts and cons going on all around us. And I mean, it's just too many to name. I mean, from the historic stuff like the Charles Ponzi's and these MLMs to where, well, for MLMs, for those who don't know, multi-level marketing, for those scams to where people are the real way that you make money, because the products are so hyper inflated that the real way you make money is by recruiting people and then them buying the products to quote unquote invest in their business. And it's mind boggling the extent that people will go to take advantage of people who just want an opportunity. Here's what I would say, and I'll just leave you guys with this piece. If you really want a true opportunity, here's how you get it. You find a way to become educated in something that has a real world value. You search for an actual problem in the market, that there's a desire for a solution in it, or develop something that you see a problem for and develop a solution for that problem. Also, make sure that whatever it is that you're doing, that you understand the business of what it is that you're doing. Be involved every day. Don't just leave things by chance up to this person, this situation, that situation. You have to be actively involved, and you have to have your heart in the right place in order to conduct business accordingly. Because if people are going to invest in you, you're taking trust. That integrity of the market, these things matter, especially if you plan on being in business for a long time. And for those who are on the consumer end of things, pay attention. Just pay attention. Sometimes, and I'll say this and I'll close out, the quality of the questions that you ask predicate the quality of the responses that you give. If you ask no questions, you get no answers. But if you don't think of quality questions to say, why, if this is such a great idea, are you offering it to me? Okay, let me see what the reviews are on who else has invested. Let's see, because if there's certain things that should be public knowledge. Let me sit for a while and let me pay attention to what's going on and how it's going to try to figure out if it's going to be a good fit for me or not. Most importantly, a well-educated consumer is likely to not make horrendous mistakes. Don't just allow a pretty face or a charismatic attitude to sell you on anything. It's all around you, but you have control over whether or not you get sold into that or not. Anyway, guys, that's my time. Make sure you guys subscribe to the channel if you enjoy what you heard. Thank you so much for tuning in, and I hope you made it all the way to the end. Peace.